Doing speakers the last couple meetups. We figured we'd get back and do some of the nitty-gritty and talk about mapping tonight, and also working on analyzing the deal that we had come across a couple months back or so. Of course, I'm Jason Rizzi, that's Kevin Dowling. Michael Villegas over there, here's Multifamily Investing Club, in case you were looking for another group in the church. But here, we are here again. So tonight, we're going to jump into maps, then we're going to break out into groups. If you've never analyzed a deal, it's cool. We're just going to work on things together and come up with some questions that are really just going to be, at least some are going to be starter questions, and other points are going to possibly be more sophisticated. We'll work through it together, all right? So again, right here, we're going to work on matching your market with Google MyMaps. So saw someone do this a little while ago. Pretty cool thing, right? Of course, when you're jumping into multifamily, we have big questions. What market should I go into? Where should I be? Where do I want to focus? Especially if you're in New Jersey, fine. But if you're in maybe another market, you know, Texas, California, Arizona, wherever you're just being, well, is this market going to make sense for us? Saw someone doing this, and what they did is they really pinpointed the map, and the map allowed them to almost have a realization of where they actually are in this city without actually even being there. And it just made so much sense, because if anybody invests in any of these New Jersey towns, even Westfield, there's certain parts that hit, you know, a more desirable aspect, and there's other parts that don't. And if you're just coming to Westfield and you hear Westfield, well, it's a great town. And people make it burn because all of a sudden they come in here and try and invest in a part of town that just really doesn't get that bang for the buck, just because they really didn't know where they were. It wasn't the best school system, different side of town, you know, it was on a busy street, yada, yada, yada. Then we're going to get into underwriting deals, and we're going to talk about our one-day workshop coming up. All right, so mastering your market with Google MyMaps. It's not actually Google Maps, right?
No.
So Google MyMaps.
Yeah, so the thing that I had to figure out and learn was it's not Google Maps, you know, the thing that you use for directions. It's Google MyMaps, which allows you to go and have your own, basically, if you know Google Drive, it saves to your Google Drive automatically through Google MyMaps. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, that's the one caveat. So it's not Google Maps, it's Google MyMaps.
We put Michael in a dark room for about 2 weeks for him to figure all this out. So you're going to be able to do this in about 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
for which Michael spent about 2 weeks.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. So in the search bar type, they put in whatever city this is. And here's where this comes about, right? You're going to get a point where you're going to start getting properties across your desk, and you're going to say, all right, well, this looks like a good property. But you may find that when you end up putting this into the map, well, the property is in a lower income area, or it has a lot of crime, or the schools aren't right around it, or it just, in fact, it's just way overvalued for where you're seeing other comps in there. And you're able to go back with questions relatively easy, because on the other part, if you get this and you don't have an idea of the area built out, all of a sudden you have a property in front of you, you're looking at this property, and now you have to spend weeks, 10 days or whatever the fact, to the point of just saying, okay, where are we in this market? What makes sense? And by that time, the deal may be dead, where you could have a real read on this deal within 5 minutes after you build out these maps. So we've been building these out, we did it for Louisville, of course, which is one of our stronger markets, and I was actually in, basically in the city, got a property across, had Michael throw in the map, and within 5 minutes had a bunch of questions back for the broker, because I knew exactly where this was at, where it should be trading, what the income level was for the property, and does it meet the metrics I want to be after. So we're going to use 4 to 5 layers, and you can put in more, but for us, this gives us a good general sense. We're using, of course, sales comps. We're using path of progress. This can be, depending on the area, this could be Publix, this could be an IKEA, this could be Whole Foods, this could be Trader Joe's, this could be the golf thing, Topgolf, just because that's going to give you a good idea where are things being built on that point. We're going to use median household income levels. By zip code, you can go and put in median household income. So we want to look at where are the median household income that are under 40,000. Where are they that they're 40 to 60,000? Where are they that they're 60 to 90,000? And where are they that they're 100,000? Because generally we want to be between that 40,000 range and the 90,000 range. We'll take the 100, and it's generally just a different part of the area. But if we find we're in below 40, it just may be a rougher area, poorer area, harder for us to meet our returns just because we're dealing with a different type of tenant base that we're going to stay away from. Maybe that works for you, but for us, we're generally staying between 40,000 and 60,000. And then, of course, for comps here, this is how the market's basically breaking out. A little hard to see, but what it's basically coming out here is we're able to take these comps, and how we're getting these comps is when you get a properties comp, generally they have sales comps in there, right? So we're tracking those sales comps. We're also going to people who now maybe work for some companies, like a Reese or a CoStar or some other friend, and seeing if they can actually pull us comps. I actually went to a broker and asked the broker who had a broker relationship with, can you send us all the sales comps for the last 24 months? And he was like, well, I was like, just we're going to put it in the map. So we've been, he got his assistant within a half hour to send me over all the sales comps. So now I have sales comps across the city here, built out, showing me the address, of course, the city, the state, the sales price, when the sale date was, number of units, the year it was built, and latitude and longitude, which we don't do, but we just get.
No, now that's needed for the maps now.
But now, if I see a property here that, sold May 2019, 300 units, 1976, sold at 22,400,000, which is about 75K a door, or whatever that falls in. And I get another property across the board that's right across the street, and I find out that property is trading at 95K a door. Well, that's one of the first questions back to the broker. Okay, whatever that is, Bertrand at Marketplace sold for 75K a door. Why is this property asking 90K a door? What am I missing? Does it have more amenities? Has it had upgrades? What are some of these points? Well, within 30 seconds, I already have value to what's actually happening there in the map. The path of progress layer is kind of super cool because you put this in, you start getting a real good read. Because what is Starbucks doing? What is Walmart doing? What are Trader Joe's doing? Well, they're spending millions of dollars in marketing, right? And so they're already putting that into here. So you're basically tracking their marketing to see where they want to be. And if you can find, we just got a 32 unit we closed 2 months ago. And you look in the map right there, we basically have a Whole Foods on one side, we had a Trader Joe's going on the other side. And we hadn't even built out this map to know that, but now we already have this property contract, we're closing that, we start putting the path of progress in there, we're like, man, we're all right down the street from all these great path of progress areas that we didn't even know we were that close to. But having this map here is a great resource for you to show where you're falling in the market. We search for franchises and corporations, and we can start basically tilting them out here. Michael's a real big guy in Chick-fil-A, so we usually get Chick-fil-A in there. So, but of course they do a great job, so you put them there. We got Chipotle, I don't know what that one is, but Walmart in there. We'll use IKEA, we'll see what's in there. We're usually gonna look for, of course, the supermarket chains too, right? Georgia had a lot in Publix, right?
Yeah, Kroger.
Kroger was, yeah.
That had one, I didn't know that one, that was Louisville.
Yeah, that was Louisville, that's Kroger, so we're gonna look where those are too.
Target, IKEA's, which other ones we have? Whole Foods,
Yeah.
Starbucks is a big one. I try to stay away from the McDonald's, because McDonald's are like all over the place as well, and they're on major highways and stuff like that. But the big corporations and, like I said, Walmart's, Target, stuff like that, if they're doing their research, then why not piggyback off theirs?
So again, you start adding this in, you start getting a real good read for the city. Because you're looking at a point here, and you got low income levels over here, there's no path of progress, you're not seeing many sales comps, and you start getting a property in that area, well you're going to ask that question, okay, what's wrong with this property from the start? Now you have it built into the map to be able to read exactly what's happening there. Schools. This is super important. There's going to be a lot of families living in your apartment building, especially as affordable housing is needed, right? A lot of families. So where are the families going to want to be? They want to be in the areas where they can put their kids in good schools. And they may even pay a little bit more to be in that school zone, just school district, so they can actually stay there. So if you're coming in here, you're in a lower income area, you have more difficult schools, where you just might have a more difficult tenant base. But if you're in an area here where you have a path of progress and schools, we're trying to track, we're not putting all the schools in, but we're generally putting in schools that are, greatschools.org has 1 through 10. We're looking from 6 through 10 to put in here, because that, or 5 through 10 I think we put in there, because that gives us a good idea of kind of where the good school areas, where are some properties we want to be, because we're going to try and make this a better property, but with that we need to have the environment around us that allows us to really just grow with the area. Questions so far? Cool. And this was the census.gov. This is kind of one of the most important ones, because here we can break out the zip codes. And this gives us the true story to know exactly where's the areas that we're going to be investing in. We know Louisville very well, so really for Louisville, we invest right here. What we found when we did this, this is generally right in our index here. This is like kind of 40 to 60-ish, right in this area. So that makes sense. We didn't even know it until we actually mapped this out. Start getting up here, you're in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, because it gets real rich out here. Like the Papa John's guy lives over here. He's kind of up here, hanging out. So that might just be a little bit more outside of where we're investing. Down here, it gets real poor. So some of these areas are hit and miss, but you start having each of these zip codes right here. It tells you what the household median income is. This is downtown, and then over here, it's a little more dangerous. You're not going to see a lot of path of progress. This is the area where they actually were trying to put a Walmart in. Walmart did the research, we're like, this would be a great thing. And this community board over here said, no, we don't want things to change. We don't want that. So we don't want the Walmart. So they actually kicked out the Walmart. So if they're going to kick out that and kick out the path of progress, probably going to be an area we're going to stay away from. But you start putting this together here, start seeing that you have 40 to 60, you have generally 6 to 7 on the schools down here. Your household income, we said, was 40 to 60. You have the Chick-fil-A's, you have some of the Starbucks in here, you have your Walmarts in here. Well, now we start getting a read on where we want to be in the city without actually ever being there. So if I was actually never in Louisville, I now have this whole map built out of a city, and we actually did this for Savannah.
Savannah, Atlanta, Louisville,
Just did one more. Yeah, we did Augusta.
Augusta.
Yeah, so, but again, not in Augusta, not in Savannah, right? But we have a real good read of where we want to be, right? So for Savannah, we want to be in the south side of Savannah, just without having been there. And we actually used it in part of our talk track, because now we get on the phone, we can have conversations with other investors there, other brokers, property managers, and just get a feed for like talking to them, and you kind of start getting that confirmation that this area come in, or they may actually help you along the line, but at least they know you're digging in, because the thing that you're going to need to do here is get specific with people. If you're going to say, I want to invest in multifamily property, no one's going to be really able to help you, because you're not going to be able to give them guidance. But if you say, hey, I want to invest in 75 to 150 units, BC assets in the South Central or South Submarket in Louisville, generally between, $3 to $10 million, well, now the broker knows what I'm looking for. So now Mr. Broker, Mrs. Broker can help me along the way. Now the property manager knows what kind of property I'm looking for, and I'm also able to find that property manager that fits that type of property. Make sense? Cool. Oh. You can do crime as well. Go in there and roll the crime. You just got to factor what kind of crime you want. Because again, like when you're looking at crime, some people might be okay with pickpockets. You're in C assets, you're going to have some, disturbance, right? But you may want to stay away from like the knife in the neck kind of thing, or like stuff like that. Some people make a lot of money there, but we stay away from that. We don't want the murder. We want the other things that are going to be on point. But you want to factor in what you're putting in there and what you're looking for. Truly, Crime Map has like the, I think they did a different shades now, but it was like red was like real bad. Like the green was good. It gets blocked, so you can dig that in there. So yeah, super important. The Census Bureau are the nicest people who work in the government. I don't know what they do. They're super nice. You call them up and they'll walk you right through. Like seriously, super nice. Because I called and I said, Michael, they're so nice. You got to call. Just I forgot how to do it, but at that point, Michael called and actually walked through the whole thing. He'll teach you just how to basically download an Excel spreadsheet. And that's all you need really is you need an Excel spreadsheet of the sales comps, sales spreadsheet for path of progress, and for the census data, and you can upload it in Google MyMaps. And in no time, you can build this out for, you want to build this out for Livingston, New Jersey. Okay, cool. You want to build this out for, Allentown, Pennsylvania. You want to build this out for Phoenix. You want to build this out for some of these markets out there. Now you get a super read on where you are in the city without even going there, and just have more context of, okay, is this even an area that's going to make sense for me besides digging in with all the data? Okay. So I think this is what a map would look like. And again, we're in Louisville. And you can take all these layers off. So if you don't want to see all this chaos, at once, you can take out, you want to take out some of the path of progress, you want to take out, the schools for a point. But again, you can start getting reads exactly where you want to be in the city. So we like to be right here. And that makes sense for what we see there for, transaction volume, for the income levels, for the path of progress, and that kind of all reads out.
So, like, you basically have like zip codes, I guess, that here's my list of zip codes.
Just
that I-
Louisville, Louisville, this is zip codes. And so I just pulled them all up, and then the Census Bureau, how do I pull the income levels for zip codes in Louisville? They just show you the list right there.
Right, so a broker contacts you and you just, that's not one of my zip codes.
Yep.
And you kind of give them reasons why.
Yeah, we're 40220, 40218, 40219, 40214, right down the list, it's all right in that area. Yeah,
Isn't the zip code that have good area and that area is there?
good, and you can even break that down further. There's other ways to do it in that area where you can actually section off the map, but just for quickness, we did on the zip code, right? Because at that point, you're gonna see that, for me, a good indication would be if I'm in let's say I'm 40 here, or 45, and then over here I'm 60 and 60, but then over here I'm 20, 20, 20, 20, then it might give me a good idea of which side of the area would be. So, not perfect, but at least it gives you good context, right? But generally, if you're 40 here, you're gonna be somewhere 56, you're not gonna be 40 to 100. So it gives you a good idea what that area is about. Am I in the rich area?